All right, so we got an interesting one here today. So this customer's vehicle's in because it caught on fire. It's a 2013 Nissan Altima. So um, my suspicions are that, so with Nissans, previously owning Nissans myself, um, a lot of their wiring, the manufacturer uses that soy-based wiring coating on there, and rodents like to get inside the engine bay and chew it up, especially the wiring. And what ends up happening is those wires will end up touching each other and causing a spark. But this one, from what the video was sent to me by the customer, is that they obviously sparked and caused a fire in there. So we're going to open this hood up and take a look and see what the damage is like. All right, let's see what we got here. Besides a dirty engine bay, so it looks like so far this wiring right there has been damaged. As you can see where it got together. In fact, what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and disconnect that battery now that we got the vehicle in here. Tow truck actually just dropped it right off into the garage, so. We'll get this negative battery kit pulled off. The plan is to kind of just assess and look and see what all is damaged, and then kind of create a list of parts that need to be replaced, and then give the customer a quote of exactly how much it's going to cost to fix this, and see if they're interested in it at all. As I said, obviously the value of the car isn't a lot. All right, now that we got the battery disconnected. Okay, so we got this harness here. Looks like the intake manifold's been damaged as well. As well as this, it's like a bracket. And then, let me get some lighting in here. So imagine with all this old oil on there from a leaking valve cover gasket, that also helped spark up some of this stuff too. But fuel rail looks to be okay, but maybe needs some replacing. So definitely this breather hose right here, intake manifold, and this wiring harness. So, and unfortunately, this one harness goes all the way. So what I did discuss with the customer is pulling the parts out that need to be replaced, and then going to a salvage yard to pull replacement parts, and that'll help them save some money, given the fact that this vehicle doesn't cost a lot, so, or isn't valued very high. But again, now I don't know if it affected any of the other electronics, but the main thing is trying to get everything rewired, repieced back up together, and then seeing what all it does. Now, when I got in the vehicle, it said no key detected, even though the key was right there. So I don't know if that was affected by the computer or what, but so yeah, looks like needs a dipstick as well too. So we'll get everything pulled out and then start seeing what all we can do. Tell you what, no, one thing I did order was the new Lyle hose disconnect pliers. That thing is on there. Yeah, notice, I'll show you in a little bit, but a lot of these connectors got a lot of dirt and grime on them. So I did order the new Lyle disconnect pliers. Hopefully that'll be in this weekend to help with this stuff. But so you can use this WD-40 contact cleaner to kind of help get some of that dirt and stuff off of there. Kind of loosens it up and dries pretty quick too. I kind of spray it on there, help get it off, but it won't really fix if the plastic is brittle anymore. So just be kind of cautious of that. All right, these are my new favorite hose clamp pliers. These are the HCP 48 BCFs from Snap-on. Sorry about that, fellas. So let's see what this dipstick looks like. That's gonna be interesting. It is pretty stuck in there. Little snap-on mini needle nose. So if I can grab with it. There you go, guys. I mean, this thing barely has any oil on there. Focus. All right. So we're gonna get a notepad. And kind of as we go along, so far we know we need a wire harness. Intake manifold. Breather tube. Let's check this PCV valve too. Dirty. PCV. Definitely an oil change is recommended because it'd rather have any oil in there. So looking at it now, I don't see really much activity of, well, let's see here. Yep. So rodents have been in there. We got some, I'll show y'all real quick. There you go, got a little acorn or whatever the heck it is. So, got a few droppings there. So, that's what they've definitely been doing. All right, so called the customer, gave him a quick assessment of what I found so far. Definitely rodent work has been the issue and cause of this car catching on fire. As far as the damages and what parts need to be replaced, kind of gave a rundown on that. So far in my books, I got the intake manifold, breather tube, main engine wire harness that's going to have to be replaced, and kind of gave them an average estimate of what it's probably going to cost to get this repaired. Now, looking at the vehicle, so this is a 2013 Altima. Now, obviously, it's not in here repairs for stuff like this, but overall value of the vehicle itself is not very high. And then given the circumstances of how much money to put into this financially, I basically told them, you know, is it worth it or not? Now, what I gave them a few options. Now we can obviously run and repair all these parts the correct way, but given the circumstances financially, what I did offer was, what we can start off with is attempting to repair this part right here, basically cutting this harness and this section here, maybe this one here, definitely, obviously, probably, and then attempting to repair this portion right here, and then starting the vehicle. Now I see some damage right there. I don't know how far in that went, but there is that. So basically what our goal is trying to do is we're going to make some temporary repairs to this and see how the vehicle reacts to it. See if it responds correctly in terms of the communications to the ECU and then back. And then if that works, then now obviously what I did tell them was if the area where they live has a lot of rodents, meaning squirrels. As you can see here, there's some droppings that, well, they got burnt up too, but just the evidence there. Then this could possibly happen again to them. So there is that likelihood of that. So if they invest the money into it right now again for a full repair and this happens again, then they could be potentially doing this all over again. Now, as far as insurance coverage, they don't, their coverage right now doesn't cover this. It's just basic liability. So that's why the vehicle is here right now with me. So that's what I'm gonna do right now is begin working on seeing what can be repaired and then starting the vehicle up and seeing what kind of codes it throws and then going from that part. And that's another thing too. If we don't want to just end up investing a lot of money into this, and when I say we, the customer, and then, turns out that it'd probably be a better option if they just salvage this car and then find something, another cheap cash car to drive around in. So those are the options that we talked about and what my opinion was. So just give an update to y'all guys and what my thoughts are on this. So, obviously this is how I'm making money, but again, my view is, my concern is the customer first and what the best options are for them. So that's what we're gonna do, and we'll see how it goes. Now, as far as the vehicle, it's in pretty rough shape. Pulled the dipstick out, wasn't really oil in there. Need some valve cover gaskets. Let's see what else. Coolant looks okay, but yeah, needs a lot of work in my standards. But as far as just doing what needs to be done, we're gonna get right onto it. So plan is right now is just kind of loosen all this harness up as much as I can. Take some of these brackets off. And I tell you what, I love these hose clamp pliers. You can get them from vertical or horizontally. And these hose pliers from Icon are great too. So this one is a coolant line. Just gonna pull this one off. You can use these silicone rubber plugs, and that'll plug that. I'll show you out here in a second. So using this snap on to get this end, and I use that silicone plug right there to keep the coolant from coming out. That way we don't lose too much coolant as well. So, all right. I think this one's okay. So we got one more. If you haven't invested in these 1/4-inch swivels, these are a game changer in these tight places. Especially if there's any obstructions in the way, you can get it at an angle like this. Alright. Let's see what we got here. The wires to the fuel rail the injectors are burnt to a crisp. One thing I love about these pliers, you can grab them on the connector where it's a lot more beefier and pull up on it so that way you don't tear it up. Alright. Needle nose Talon grips in a curved version. Have you all seen those? Haven't seen them online yet, but somebody had posted on Instagram. But that person is from Japan, so I don't know if it's just in that market alone. I would love some curved version of these, because even some different angles. That'll be interesting to get off. So the plastic connector portion has melted on there. All right, so we kind of loosened up the wiring harness already on this. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get those connectors off to the fuel injectors, because those are melted on. I mean, if you look under there, let me see if I can get a camera view of that. So I don't know if y'all can see that right there. And then on this one, it's pretty melted up. I can't even feel the button anymore, the release tab. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get those off of there without tearing up too much stuff. So my only other option is, I'm thinking, even then these wires are pretty crispy. Yeah, there's no way. I gotta get those off. So it's a little too long. So what do you shine? That's it. Leverage something. I could have done it with the other one, but I don't want to smash into anything else. Just like that. Just be two 10 mils. Bolts holding this in. Now all you have to do is pry up the fuel rail. pry bar, but I stuck a piece of hose on there. That way when I lean against this, it won't damage it. Get this out of here. All right, so what you're gonna do is come at an angle. Just like that, it should pop out. Okay. All right, so like I said, so this itself will be at an angle like this. Just go out diagonally and it should all pop out with all 4 injectors. Just like that. Okay, you will smell a little bit of fuel. All right. Okay, so it looks like one. We'll go ahead and replace all 4 of them. These 2 are definitely melted off. And then we'll replace the wiring on these as well too, so. All right, hopefully y'all can see that. So battery voltage is dropping down. It was at about 13 earlier. Now that I got it connected back, it's down to 12.8, so definitely a bad battery. All right, so here's the codes right here. We got lost communication with TCM, engine oil temperature sensor. So a lot of codes. And let's go check and see if we can get that fuse link to work. All right, so we get the I key system error. No key detected. Keys right here. I've already changed the battery out. So it's just clicking. So let's see if we can get that booster pack on there. All right, got the jump pack on there. Let's see if it charges it up. Don't have high hopes right now. This battery may be no bueno. So it's a 685 amp, cranking amp battery. So right now, it's reading 12.8 volts. And we test the battery. So right now it's only coming out at 474, 69%. That's after charging fully last night too. So this battery may not be good. So Even with the jump pack on there, it wasn't. So let's see if we can figure something out. All right, so I got a good suspicion that the ECU may be burnt up once this fire had happened. So all we're doing now is just testing the fuses. I'm not getting any power. You can see these fuses. They're getting 12 volts, but nothing in here. So, let's see if we can trace that back. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. If I can get a... This is where the ECM fuse is. It's not getting any power. Alright, let's see. Alright, so we know this unit is not getting any power. All this is getting power. Alright, so I just spoke to the customer. We definitely know the electrical issue is more extensive than just the wiring. Possibly the ECU is blown. This box is definitely not getting any power. We talked about the options. We could possibly go to the junkyard, pull some of that, but the only main problem is the cost to get it programmed. So I know you have to pull these to the dealer or the shop that can program that ECU and program the keys as well too. So that's an issue there. So we ran through the options as far as what the car is valued at, what it's worth, and my suggestion, as well as confirming with them, is to go ahead and salvage this car. We did run an estimate already with pick and pull, so they're going to get a pretty decent amount, about $700+ on this vehicle to get it picked up and salvaged, and they can use that money towards something without any issues, and obviously not a Nissan, hopefully, as well. So so there we go. I mean, unfortunately, this is just one of the situations where you kind of have to break the bad news to the customer and tell them, hey, you know, I don't like throwing situations where we can't bring them good news and say, hey, the car is running now or whatever. But obviously, I don't want them spending more money than what the car is worth and possibly run into other issues down the road as well. So we went through the codes. Obviously, the ECU is not communicating back on the scan tool, and so we kind of figured that might be the issue, but we went ahead and tested all of this and didn't have any luck. So